when the lane moving fast. Hey, let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss. Hey.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. This is your first time tuning in. Welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do, or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're rolling solo again today. Like I always say, you guys, all my guests have day jobs and things pop up last minute. So we got to go with the flow on a lot of things. And that's what we're doing today. So we're going to dive in. We are going to do a lane analysis on that. And then I'm going to do kind of like a mid-year review, you could call it. I like doing these a couple of times throughout the year. It's not obviously the focal point of my content, but just kind of like some life lessons and business lessons I've learned out there. Again, I have never ran, or founded a company that does $100 million a year yet. So I only really talk about the stuff that I've already accomplished. And I always think it's a good stepping stone, but again, it's a good framework to follow in multiple facets of your life. One quick reminder, tomorrow Freight Coach newsletter drops. Again, it's once a week, you guys. It's only about the industry. We talk rates in there, fuel prices, cyber tips, stuff like that to help you in your business. But I don't auto sign my contacts up to it. So if you want to get in on it, I need you to go to my website, thefreightcoach.com. It'll auto prompt you to register for it, you guys, and go from there. I don't like selling out my contact list. And furthermore, I really don't like it when I see more and more newsletters just pop up in my inbox and I didn't want to get them. So if you want in on it, I need you to go to my website and check that out. But before we jump into the show, we are going to do This Week in Freight, powered by my friends over at DAT. Again, you guys, this is 100% viewer submitted on this. So if you want your lane broken down on the show, I need you to email my team, podcast@thefreightcoach.com. I need shipping city, delivery city, trailer type. That's all I need. And we're going to come on here and break it down. And we are kind of staying in the Midwest today. Today's reefer, and it is Minneapolis, Minnesota to Indianapolis, Indiana, a nice little regional overnight run that comes along with it. And then again, you guys, the first thing I always do anytime I'm assessing the lane, I look at the miles, right? Because days of the week matter on when this is going to ship. And that falls in this is a great next day. So Monday through Thursday, great shipping on this one. Friday to Monday, you're probably going to see an elevated rate on that. And then furthermore, another thing that to keep in mind with refrigerated loads, you guys, depending on what type of refrigerated requirement comes along with it, that does affect the pricing on it, right? So if it's, -10, it's going to be exponentially more expensive than something that's temped at like 50 degrees for a weather protectant, stuff like that. So keep that in mind as you're pricing this stuff out. That's a lesson that I learned early on. And I think it does make a very big difference out there overall when you're looking at pricing some of these loads out there, especially if you're moving, -10 frozen out there. You just want to be aware of that as you're going in, because you're going to hear higher rates from your carriers more times than not. But again, this is another stable lane. Okay. We broke one down yesterday. It was, I think it was Omaha to Ohio. Same thing. It showed signs of stability. This is also showing signs of stability. If we're looking back from April through June, it was pretty much the exact same rate for that 90-day period. Now, granted, there was a spike here recently because of the 4th of July. Not a massive spike though, right? And as more and more data comes in on this, that's very telling about these lanes. Again, we inside of my book of business last week, it was actually easier to cover freight last week with a lot of our carriers than it has been in any other week kind of leading up to it, right? Which is kind of against the grain on how a normal holiday week tends to run. Usually you see exponentially higher prices. Now, again, my caveat is I don't move every lane in America, so you could have experienced that. But me personally, I saw a lot more ease last week than I was anticipating with a lot of the rates that we had saw leading up into that holiday week. So again, I think we're at a stabilization point. Now, things could increase. I'm not going to say that it's not going to happen, But we're at a point now where it's like, I want you guys to pay attention to that 1 year mark, because it's very important. Obviously, we see that massive spike that happened in there. But if you look at June and July of last year, very stable, a slight increase in August and September. And then if you've ever lived in the Midwest at all, you know what happens late August, September, and October, harvest season. So that's naturally going to have a rate increase going up to it. So it's like, again, if I'm looking at this, I think for the rest of this month and into probably mid-August, it's going to be probably pretty stable on this. And then you're going to start to see that normal seasonality of a slight increase going into September and October, leading up into harvest season. And that will obviously affect the reefer market. It's going to affect the dry van market as well. You see that down in produce season in Florida anytime, because all of that van and reefer style freight cannot only go van, and the capacity pool drops, and then rates tend to go up during that time frame. But if we're looking at this, again, you guys, I want you to pay attention to seasonalities. All right. No matter what, every lane damn near performs the same year in and year out. Granted, we saw a spike. Why did that spike happen? War. Okay. That caused fuel to go up. Capacity tightened. There was some legislative things that have came down. So that was a reason why it spiked. But guess what? It's stabilized, right? So like, you need to be looking at this stuff and bringing that to your customers. So many people fear sell, you guys. And I'm not saying that it's not hard to cover lanes at times, but if you're not constantly posting and praying and racing to the bottom, and you're actually building a capacity base, which we talk about in depth on this show, the stability is there, you guys. You just got to work for it. It might not look sexy on your balance sheet because, you're going to have a pretty consistent profit margin on there. You're not going to get any of those big rippers every once in a while. But again, I want to be the voice. I want to be that sense of calm in a sea of chaos, because a lot of people are trying to push that still. And again, not every single lane is going to be stable every single time. But more often than not, you guys, the beauty of data doesn't lie. And the more and more lanes that I've been breaking down here over these past couple of weeks are showing a lot of signs of stabilization out there. So you should be selling that to your customers. If this was the lane that I was personally moving, which we move a very similar lane to this with this very similar trailer type, I would be legitimately keeping my rates locked in. I would be keeping my rates locked in. Yeah, I might have to eat it on a couple of them, break even, do whatever to service the account, but I want to be that stable provider right now when everybody else is running around like a chicken with their head cut off, right? I think it's a very strong play. I think this lane stays stable and will remain stable here probably until harvest season coming up. I'd say, through August, you should be all right. General rule of thumb, harvest starts mid-September, but you start seeing a little bit of a late season push, late August push out there. And again, pay attention to that, you guys. But again, I think this lane is going to probably perform the same. Yes, it might go up. There's a lot of factors that could happen out there. But at the end of the day, we're paid to find that solution. That is This Week in Freight, though, powered by my friends over at DAT for a reefer today. Again, you guys, we break it down 3 days a week: dry, reefer, flatbed. 100% viewer submitted those. So if you want your lane broken down on the show, again, email my team, podcast@thefreightcoach.com. And I just literally go over how I personally price freight. And, rest assured, you guys, I actually move freight too. So none of what I talk about on this show is theory. This is actual things that I apply inside of my business. And I think again, I don't know everything, you guys, but I've been doing this for a very long time. Nothing that I'm seeing out there right now is like a unique market at all. Nothing that I have seen is unique about right now, and that this has never happened. This has happened multiple times. It's going to continue to happen out there in the future, the more and more that you move freight. And, again, you guys, this is why people hire us. They hire us for one thing and one thing only: solve their problem. Most organizations out there take the opposite approach. They go out there, they sell on fear, they sell on instability. And I want to be that voice of reason out there. I want to be the most consistent provider that my customers have. And again, one thing I always say: good, better, and different. My customers are always going to know what's going on, because one thing I have identified as the most fail-proof way of operating: solid communication, top-tier communication, never missing an update, keeping everybody informed, keeping everybody on the same page. With that methodology, I've never been posed with a problem that there wasn't a solution to, because we just communicate. Maybe too much, right? But I've never had a customer tell me, hey, please stop updating us on these loads. We really don't want to know what's going on with them. Never had that happen. But let's shift a little bit here today. Like I said, we're doing a little bit of like a mid-year thing. I know it's it's the 4th of July out there, and there's always that end of quarter two, halfway point, yada, yada, yada. But I think it's very important to stop looking at everything on like where the year is at per se. Like, oh, it's July, it's the halfway point. I look at it from this perspective, right? Like you gotta start somewhere. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's July. If you sit here and say, "Oh, I'll start that business in January," you're never going to start it, right? But like, can't say never, but like, there's a very low probability that you're going to convert. The best time is now. The very best time was yesterday to make that decision. But I not to get all philosophical on anything like that, but I turned 40 this year, and it was kind of a reality check for me a little bit because I feel the opposite of how I thought I was going to feel at 40 when I was 20, right? Like when I was 20, I thought 40 was fucking never, like I was going to be old as shit. I was going to look like shit, feel like shit, all of that stuff. And I couldn't have the opposite experience that when I am, right? Like at 40, I'm probably in the best physical shape of my life. I know that I'm actually going after what I truly want in life and building my companies up and doing what I do every single day. And I know that it took a lot of life to kind of get to that point. But I think like if you look at statistically, like the average person only makes it to like 78 or whatever it is. I want to live to 100. I think that'd be cool because only a couple of people do. But I look at it where it's like, if I would have continued to go down that path of inaction, right? Like, oh, I'll wait till Monday, the wait till Monday syndrome. Like, again, I've talked about getting sober on this show a few times. It's not a pillar of the content that I put out there, but I drank a lot. I never exercised. I looked like shit. I felt like shit for the overwhelming majority of my life. And I finally got to that breaking point, right? Where it was like, I got to stop. And I personally find value in what others would perceive as like extreme behaviors, right? Like, I don't believe in a gradual, like I can just have one style mentality. Like I'm all or nothing with stuff, right? So it's a lot easier for me personally to not do something than it is to like kind of dabble in it. And that is just something that I've personally applied in my life. And again, that might not be for you at all, but it's like, it's the same thing about like just jumping in feet first and kind of figuring it out. It's a strength of mine, but it's also a weakness of mine as well, right? Because I have a PhD in learning shit the hard way out there, but it's for me personally, it's the only way that I ever really know stuff. But it's like if I could go back and tell anybody who's 20 in their 20s or in their early 30s, take care of your health. Like I would say that is the greatest asset that you can like legitimately possess out there. One of my really, really good friends, he's going to be 50 here soon. Like the dude shredded, but same thing. He started taking control of his health. And, at least for me, from my perspective, I wish I wouldn't have waited, but I'm glad I started when I did, right? Like I'm glad I started at 34 to start taking my health a lot more serious because like it's all connected. If you're going to go out there and say you're going to start a business or go out and become an agent or whatever that looks like, it's going to be a mental grind. It's not a physical thing, right? Like I work in an air conditioned office. I'm not going to sit here and say that like it's physically taxing to do my job. I'd be lying, right? Like I grew up doing blue collar work for the overwhelming majority of my life. I'll take this any day of the week and twice on Sunday. But your ability to physically perform and show up, like there's so many different connections between that and like your mental health as well. And again, it is pushing those limits of finding like what you're truly capable of, because it's again, if you're going to go out there and you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go chase my dream of building a business, or I'm going to go chase my dream of losing weight or getting sober or any of those things, like you got to really strip it all down and look at it from the perspective of like, what's the one thing that I'm going to need in every single situation? It's going to boil down to your health. You need your health, right? Like I don't have sick days. Like if I'm not feeling well, I'm still showing up because like I got to eat, right? Like my family's got to eat. And it's one of those things that physically taking care of yourself and all aspects of it, and again, that's even like brushing your teeth, flossing, dental and everything. It's all connected. If I could go back and tell anybody who's listening that's 20, 30s, mid 30s, whatever it is, start taking care of your health like right away. Like whatever that looks like. Again, start with something. Start walking if you're not walking, whatever that looks like. It's the same thing with making cold calls, or if you're going to go out there and build a book of business, like start with something and build up off of there. I think like we are just bombarded with everybody's perfect. You got to go and make a bazillion cold calls a day and do all of this shit. Eventually you can build up to that, but you got to start with something. And then you build up and compound off of that. That's the secret sauce in life, you guys. It's not sexy. You can't sell it in a course. I can't sell somebody a course on like, hey, you're going to get hung up on 99% of the time, and you're going to get told no 99% of the time, but eventually you're going to get told yes. And then you're going to get yes again and yes again. But it takes a really, really long time to get there. Nobody wants to buy that shit. Everybody wants instant results. And I think that's why that start on Monday sounds so much more appealing than anything, right? Like, oh, I'll start that business next quarter. Like that will literally kill you in due time. Like the more and more you push stuff out, the more and more it's just there's such a less likelihood of it ever happening, right? How many people gave up on their New Year's resolutions or gave up on their quarter one or quarter two sales goals or business goals or whatever that is for the year because they're so far behind and everything else? So like, fuck it, I'm going to coast for the rest of the year, right? Like that falls into so many people, but like those are the habits that are killing you. And I'm putting Chris Jolly on the top of that list, right? Like I will always put myself first because those are those things. Just like everybody, I'm a human being. I get frustrated when we're not converting new business opportunities at the level that I think that we should, or we're not growing fast enough and everything else. It's all part of the process. But, again, I also look back and I really, really, really try my best. I'm just focusing on today, right? What can I do today to move my business forward 1% or move my health forward 1%? And controlling those little things compound over time, right? Like, again, we want to sit here and go from, when I was at my heaviest, I was like 260 some pounds to where I am today. It took like 5 years to get there, right? But most importantly, to keep that weight off, right? Now, if I look at it from a business sense, it took me probably 2 years. And again, you guys, I went to public school. Things are a lot harder for myself than probably most normal person. But now I got a sales system down to where it's like I'm doing 40 some touches every single day without fail. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm in a good mood, bad mood. I'm putting in the work. I'm putting forth that effort. And I'm finding ways to actually reach my prospects in a meaningful way now. And I'm not falling in to that automation, we'll call it indoctrination out there, right? Like I'm telling you from somebody who actually prospects every single day, you guys, all of your prospects know when it's an automated generic message that you didn't put any effort in creating, right? Like you're not going to get, like your KPI might look fucking phenomenal because you sent 150 emails that day. But if there's no response from it, it's wasted effort, right? So it's like to get in there and just like targeting the right people and doing the right motions. And again, it's all interconnected, whether it's, work, physical, whatever that looks like. Focusing in on like, how do you just get a little bit better and a little bit more aligned? Like I'm constantly shuffling through my prospects right now because again, I only have so many touches I can do in any given day, in any given week. And if I'm not getting anywhere with the prospect, I got to stop going after the comfort of, hey, I can call them, but I know they're not going to answer the phone to say that I got my call done. I need to drop them and backfill that slot with somebody who might pick up the phone. And then I got to call them a certain amount of times or email them or whatever that looks like to get noticed. And if they don't respond, I got to drop them and put another one in. It's this, like eventually you got to realize that comfort that you're seeking of that routine of like, hey, I'm hitting my numbers, but I know it's not doing anything. Eventually you're going to hit that. And if you're in a position like myself and you're self-employed and you're working off of limited capital, like your runway is only so long. You can only survive for so long on the money that you got coming in before you're going to be bankrupt, right? So again, it is just those small little pushes. I'm not saying you blow up your entire sales process today or anything like that, but you got to start looking at like what's working, what's not working, and then make those small, meaningful changes. Because otherwise, you guys are going to wake up, it's going to be January and nothing's going to have changed. And you're going to be wondering, like, am I even going to have a job? Right. Because is my sales manager going to fire me and everything? And it's like, I look at it where it's like, I couldn't, I will say with confidence, I'm unemployable at this point in my life. Again, I've been self-employed now for over 6 years. I could never walk into somebody else's office for the rest of my life. I refuse, right? Like, the boats have been burnt. I will figure it out. That's my mentality. I'm going to show up. I'm going to perform. I'm going to constantly refine that system that I'm operating. And again, like, this is like that unsexy stuff in business that I talk about in some of my posts that I put out there, where it doesn't get a ton of likes, right? Because nobody wants to hear the truth about it. But it's like, you have to, like, legitimately be looking at your daily systems in all facets of your life, and how can you drop something to improve it, just get a little bit better out there. Again, if I could go back to being 20, I would tell anybody, stop thinking you have to completely reinvent yourself overnight. Take your time, find an area, improve in that area. And when that becomes your new normal, right? Maybe it's your new normal is now, hey, I'm making 25 sales calls every single day, or your new normal is I'm doing 10,000 steps every single day, or whatever that looks like, or I'm reading a book a month, whatever that looks like. Then that's your new normal. That's your new routine. Then you can fix another area of it, right? So again, take that compounding approach. It adds up over time, because trust me, if you start at 20 or 30, your life's going to look vastly different at 40. Just like if you start at 40, it's going to look vastly different at 50, right? Like, you just got to stop putting shit off, because next month, next year, and, ultimately, not to sound too morbid, none of it's guaranteed. Like, I know so many people that I went to high school with, that I grew up with, rode the bus with, as kids that are dead now. Like, it's fucking crazy that the kids I used to play t-ball with have died, and that comes along with it, right? So again, you might not have more time, so it's like, why wait? Why wait another day? Why waste another day of your life doing something that you shouldn't, because it feels good in the moment, right? It feels comfortable in the moment, but eventually it's going to run out. Eventually there isn't going to be a next quarter or next Monday, right? I don't want to sound too morbid with it, but that's just the facts. That comes along with turning 40 and losing a lot of people that you grew up with, losing a parent, stuff like that. It changes shit. It changes your mentality on stuff. It changes how fast you want to operate and how much you want to make changes out there, because for a fact firsthand that you don't know how long you actually have. Another thing too, eliminate negative energy from your life, whatever that is, right? For me personally right now, I'm on a mission to stay off of social media in regards to like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm on a mission to stay off of it. Fortunately, I have people who can post for me now. So a lot of the content that I make, it's me making it, but like, I'm having somebody scheduled to post out for me, because I am trying to eliminate any and all distractions from my goals in my business. And my goals are to add new business and not to get pulled in to any of the negativity that I see out there, because you see a lot of it and you got to control that energy, because it's like, it starts to bleed into other areas of your life. And, for me personally, there's nothing productive on Instagram. There's nothing productive on TikTok and other things. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's funny at times, but like, overwhelmingly, it's just not productive for what I'm trying to accomplish right now. And I want to be present, right? Like, I don't want to be scrolling on my phone when I'm at home. I want to be with my kids. I want to be with my wife. And that's that. So it's like, I'm eliminating all of that and I'm protecting my energy, and I'm doing those things that move that needle forward to me. It's amazing how much time you actually have in the day compared to what you think when you start eliminating those distractions out there. Start eliminating people from your life that are not productive to you, right? I guarantee anybody who's listening to this, whether you're watching it live or listening to it on the audio replay later, when I'm saying this, you can think of probably 4 to 5 people in your life you probably shouldn't be hanging out with at all, but you do because you've known them forever, but they're not productive to your life, right? Like, get rid of them. Like, seriously, you got to surround, like, the people you surround yourself with is so, so important. Another thing, and I didn't learn this, this isn't unique. This isn't a Chris Jolly idea. There's a lot of people who talk about it. The 24-hour rule. What do I mean by this? Whether it's a positive thing to celebrate it for only 24 hours, most importantly, if it's a negative thing, try not to let it go for longer than 24 hours that you're dwelling on stuff. And again, I know there's a bunch of different levels of negative things that can happen to you, right? Like the death of a loved one, stuff like that. It's going to take you a little bit of time to get over it. But like, don't let anything stop you for more than 24 hours, right? Just like don't over celebrate your wins. Don't over dwell on certain things that you cannot control. Things happen. It sucks. And I'm not trying to like make anything seem light, like things don't affect me. It does. I just know that like you can't dwell on things forever, because I've lost some very, very close people to me in my life. It's been a few years now, and guess what? The sun kept rising. If I would have kept dwelling on that, I wouldn't have made any progress in my life. And then frankly, the people that I have lost, I know would be super pissed at me for putting my life on hold, because they are no longer here. They would want me to continue to move forward with it. Another thing too, intention. People will overlook, again, like back to the whole social media thing. Everybody has always told me, I wish you wouldn't say fuck so much. I think like, I wish you wouldn't curse so much out there and stuff like that. But your intent is the only thing that people pay attention to. People will overlook how you say things if your intent is pure, right? And that is just kind of the way that I talk. It's the way that I've always been. Trust me, my grandmothers and mother have always told me to clean up my language and stuff like that. But again, like my intent when it boils down, I just want to help people. Yeah, my message might not be the most politically correct out there all the times, but guess what? I'm not a politically correct individual. But if you strip it all away, my intent is I just want to help people. I want to help people better their lives in a way that they don't have to go through a lot of the struggles that I went through. Again, I'm not perfect. I don't know the answers to everything. I just know what works for me. I know what my life, looked like just a couple of years ago. And it's vastly different than the life that I'm looking right now. And it is all boiling down to just small incremental changes compounded over time. Again, my intent has always been the same. Even when I was at my worst, I never wanted to hurt anybody. I just wanted to help people. But again, if I can't help myself, how am I going to help anybody else? And that's the thing that really, really drives me the most out there. But again, as we're kind of wrapping all of this up, to me, you got to stop looking at life as like a 12-month linear calendar. Start right now, whatever that looks like. Maybe you want to stop chewing or stop drinking or whatever that looks. I don't know what it is your goals are. You got to start right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week, next month, because the more you push it off, the less and less likely it is to happen. You don't need to hit rock bottom, right? Like a lot of people are like, oh, you got to hit rock bottom before you change. I don't think you need to hit rock bottom. I think we allow ourselves to get to rock bottom because we don't know any better, right? Like we don't see the value in those small incremental bumps or changes in trajectory and improvement and stuff like that. So it's like, just don't wait, right? Like imagine, I think Alex Hormozy, and he might not even have came up with this, but like people underestimate what they can do or overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years and stuff like that. And I might be off on the saying, but it's true, you guys. We underestimate what we're truly capable of because, again, comfort is so much more fun than going out there and pushing yourself to like levels that you're capable of and you deserve. All right. And that's the thing. You all deserve to achieve all the goals that you want, whether it's in your career, physical, relationship, all of that stuff. You guys deserve it. It's just not going to be easy to get there. But again, you got to start with that one day at a time mentality and just start with one action, right? One action compounded over time leads to multiple, and you're going to achieve a lot of great things out there. But that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to change it up a little bit because, I just have to, right? Like this is just a lot of the stuff that goes through my head. And I know I can't be the only one who thinks this way. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just the fucking crazy one. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. As always, if you got value in what you heard and you're not subscribed, do me a favor. Subscribe to the show. Share the show if you got value in this, or if you know somebody who is going through some shit that I described on here. Like, again, put that out there, you guys. Share it out there. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang, with no doubt.